What's really controlling the housing market right now? Rates, policy, and what comes next? Let's zoom out for a minute because the housing market right now is being driven less by emotion and more by policy. Rates, government decisions, and behind-the-scenes moves most people never hear about are shaping what buyers and sellers can actually do in 2026. Diana here with your monthly real estate market update. This is about money, leverage, and timing. Mortgage rates are currently hovering in the low to mid 6% range, and that's not random. Rates are being pulled in two opposite directions at the same time. Inflation hasn't fully disappeared, so rates can't just collapse overnight. But economic growth is slowing enough that the pressure to keep rates high is easing. And that's why we're seeing stabilization instead of wild swings. This is important for housing because stable rates bring buyers back. Not emotional buyers, but serious buyers. At the center of this is the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve President, Jerome Powell. The Fed's job right now is a balancing act. Cool inflation without breaking the economy. That's why rate cuts are slow, cautious, and very intentional. And here's what most people miss. The Fed doesn't just influence rates through announcements, it influences them through liquidity. That brings us to mortgage-backed securities. Mortgage-backed securities, or MBS for short, are essentially bundles of home loans sold to investors. When demand for MBS goes up, mortgage rates come down. When demand drops, rates rise. Recently, government-backed entities have stepped in to buy mortgage-backed securities again, which quietly puts downward pressure on mortgage rates. This is not flashy, it doesn't make headlines, but it really matters. More MBS buying means more liquidity in the mortgage market, lower risk premiums for lenders, and downward pressure on long-term mortgage rates over time. Not overnight, but over time. Now, let's talk about the elephant everyone dances around. With Donald Trump back in the picture politically, markets are doing what they always do during election cycles, pricing in uncertainty. Regardless of where you fall politically, markets care about three things: inflation policy, spending, and pressure on the Fed. Historically, Trump has favored lower rates and more aggressive growth posture. Powell has favored independence and caution. That tension matters because if political pressure increases while economic growth softens, it raises the probability of earlier or faster rate relief. Again, not guaranteed, but the direction does matter. Put all of this together and here's where we land. We are not in a rate spike environment. We are not in a rate collapse environment. We're in a slow compression environment. That's why housing is behaving the way it is right now. Buyers are returning, but selectively. Sellers still have leverage, but only if they're realistic. And inventory is rising, but not flooding. Prices are stabilizing, but they're not free falling. This is what a controlled market looks like. Here is a big rate trigger to watch for. There's one psychological line in the sand. If mortgage rates move into the high 5% range, buyer behavior will change fast, especially in high demand markets. That doesn't mean everyone should wait. It means preparation matters more than prediction. The bottom line, the housing market right now is being shaped by policy, liquidity, and patience, not panic. Waiting for the perfect moment usually costs more than acting strategically in a good one. If you want to understand how these macro shifts affect your specific situation, whether you're buying, selling, or sitting on the sidelines, reach out and I'll walk you through what these forces actually mean for your local market. And if this kind of breakdown is helpful, make sure to like and subscribe to this video so you don't miss future updates. I focus on real explanations, not headlines.